I felt that punch. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we are going to be taking a spoiler-free look at Kaiju number 8, chapter 105. I started this recording once and immediately started getting into spoilers, so this is going to be tricky. No spoilers, spoiler-free review. Many moons ago, I did a video just enthusing over how well Matsumoto portrayed movement. It was the scene way back in chapter, I don't know actually. It was 23 or 24, right before the initial attack on Tachikawa base by Kaiju number 10. You have Vice Captain Hoshina sitting at his desk, doing a point-by-point analysis of the Kaiju number 8 appearances and the Kaiju number 9 appearances, comparing them, contrasting them, trying to figure out what is going on there. Now, normally you would not think of a scene where the character is just sitting at their desk doing data work as a scene showing a lot of movement, but this scene did, and it was so beautiful and so obvious that I had to make a video about it. In the scene, Hoshina is sitting with his arms behind his head, his elbows up, and his back arched. And if you've ever had to do any amount of work, typing or writing or reading at a desk, you've done this movement. You sit up, you push your shoulders back, stick your chest out, put your hands behind your neck, lift your elbows up, and stretch. And in that position, it's a position of constant small movements. The point is to get your blood flowing again, to tense your muscles. And the way Matsumoto depicted it, even though you cannot see the relevant muscle groups in Vice Captain Hoshina at this point, because he's wearing the big, baggy uniform overcoat of the Defense Force, you just get this amazing sense of movement. And when you've got a character stripped down to a t-shirt and tight pants and you're showing them doing katas with swords, it is somewhat easier to imply movement. But when you've just got someone sitting at a desk, it's tricky to arrange the angle of the camera, to pose their body to imply that constant movement. So with one scene, Matsumoto depicted 3 panels worth of movement, 3 different positions that we all know that Hoshina had to have gone through to do that stretching motion. By using human psychology, knowing that this was a motion that we would all recognize, and combining that with excellent anatomy and excellent understanding of how the human eye moves across a comics page, Matsumoto was able to capture that movement. And in this scene, you have a punch. In this chapter, in chapter 105, you have a punch. And the punch starts at the top of one page, where you see the intent to punch in the puncher's eyes. Then you see the positioning of the feet. Then you see the tensing of the muscles in the back. Then you see the strike, and the strike carries across the fold of the book to the top of the other page. And when your eye reaches the top of the other page, I swear I felt the visceral reaction of the punch striking through the body. And even though there's a lot in this chapter, we have references to things that happened all the way back in chapter 1 and chapter 2, tying this story together. And even though there are things like in this chapter, there is that hopeful sense of childlike wonder that really separates Kaiju number 8 from a very similar manga in Attack on Titan. And to the point where, is this a little, even though I love childlike wonder, I'm a hardcore Anne of Green Gables fan, I had to ask, is that just a little too much? But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I liked it. But this chapter was really pushing the edge of what's acceptable childlike wonder in a manga. This chapter is tying together that sense of urgency. We're referencing everything that the rest of the battlefield has been doing. But the main thing I took from it was that one single punch, because it was so well done. Now, this panel might have been very visceral for me because I have done martial arts. I did Kung Fu for many years, and I did it primarily because I am so weak. I actually have a genetic condition that means that my muscles don't develop strength as well as other people do. And I will have to work 4 times as hard to develop half the amount of muscle mass as your average person. So getting those really hard punches for me depended almost entirely on getting my body in the exact right position, lining up my muscle groups, and doing exactly what Kafka has been doing here, transferring the force from your lower body through your fists when you punch. And I was kind of, your sparring partners in the dojo. And everybody knew that I'm soft. I don't hit very hard. But by focusing and training, there was this 1 6-month time period when I was really, really focusing on getting those punches correct. And it wasn't funny, just a straight left jab, or was it the right hook? It was many years ago now, but I remember it so clearly. I'm there in the dojo, I'm practicing my punches, I line up and I get that flow of power just right, and I link my joints just right, and I get my arm lined up just right. And that punch started at my foot, went straight up through my leg, through my body, and when you're doing it correctly, you feel the way the muscles on the back of your neck go. And I just smacked the pad that my partner was holding. And my Sifu heard it, he saw it, he, kind of surprised that I managed to cause that much noise with a punch in a dojo. My Sifu said, "Good job," and my partner was just shaking his hand and where the impact had hit and grinning, because I just generally couldn't hit that hard until I got the biomechanics perfect. So for that reason, I am fairly familiar with and sensitive to the biomechanics of a really good punch. And Matsumoto gets that perfect. Even though you are not looking at human muscular structure, Matsumoto just lines up the neck muscles and the leg muscles and the entire body, the tensor fascia latae, just straining, and you just really feel that punch. It's so beautiful. And the way Matsumoto uses the flow of the panels, even though it's very few panels, Matsumoto just guides your eye logically from the top of one page to the top of the next page, and then to the bottom of the next page. It is glorious. Okay, mastering human psychology, mastering comics page layout, mastering human anatomy. The thing that elevates Kaiju number 8 above being just one more Shonen Jump battle manga, is Matsumoto's mastery of the individual skill. Matsumoto is doing his best with every element of this story. And it's amazing. Like I said, I really felt that. And interestingly enough, we find out some relevant things. And again, just for Matsumoto's referencing Matsumoto's mastery of human psychology, there is a semi-famous psychologist right now who is famous for including in his main precepts the big main thing to be a healthy, well-rounded mental person. One of his big rules is if you see a cat in the street, stop to pet it. And that has, of course, a larger meaning. No matter what's going on, no matter how important your goals are, if you see a small, fluffy animal in the street doing the cat thing, you should stop and show it affection. It's good for you. Petting cats is scientifically proven to be healthy for humans. And this isn't something that you should just save for your leisure hours. You should make time, no matter how intense the situation is. You need to make time for those little gestures of affection that connect us human to human. And there's a scene in here, you'll know it when you see it, where that principle that no matter how serious the situation is, you need to still maintain your awareness of your surroundings and your willingness to reach out on a human level. As long as someone's not actively punching you in that moment, stop to pet the cat. And the fact that that image shows up in this manga, I have suspected from some of the things that Matsumoto has depicted in his story, that he has been aware of this psychologist before, or just in a similar philosophy, is aligned with a similar philosophy. But yeah, stop. So just let this, as I wrap up this chapter, let this be a reminder. If you see a cat in the street, stop and give it a pat, unless you're being actively punched in that moment. And oh my goodness, the artwork. Just the artwork. Let's see, what is it? It's the cover page, but there's a page before the cover page. Anyway, pages 2 and 3. 2-page spread, divided into 2 pages. I could literally just look at this artwork for time. I think I will do that. It is beautiful. Matsumoto is an artist. Of course, Matsumoto's an artist. What am I mean? Matsumoto does not just tell stories. Matsumoto creates art that is aesthetically pleasing and aesthetically stimulating enough that you just want to sit, you want to frame this, you want to put it on a wall, you just want to sit and look at it and bask in it for a while. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? What was your takeaway from this chapter? Was it that astounding punch? Was it the reminder that no matter how bad things are, if you're not actively being punched, stop to pet the cat? Was it that since this story was as much inspired by Anne of Green Gables, there was an anime of that published in Japan, as it was by Attack on Titan? And did you think the Anne of Green Gables was too strong? Leave a comment below the video telling me what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.
Drake McCarty's leg was shattered, deep in the wilderness. As the flash flood closed over him, something alien pulled him from the waters. A military base that shouldn't exist. An ancient warrior with secrets of his own. Drake returns to his family with a whole leg and the burden of a secret he doesn't understand. In the forest around them, someone is watching, and something followed him home. Flying Sparks. 90,000 words of science fantasy adventure. The first novel in the Dying Embers universe is now available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play Books, and from the author as a signed copy. Get your copy now and step into a world where dragons walk the forest, aliens lurk on the mountain, and things go boomp in the night.
Escape into another world with the writings of author Betty Adams. 2 worlds, one of utter absurdity, one of dramatic tension, both alike in aliens absolutely astounded by human behavior. Humans are weird, short, absurd science fiction stories. Flying sparks, dragons, aliens, and things that go boom in the night.
Books available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play Books, and at authorbettyadams.com for a signed copy.